got it? You've got it with you? Yes, see now that's what it's all about. Okay, mobility overhaul 51. Hamstrings and groin. That's as far as I'm going to say we're getting today because time flies because we have so much fun. We're going to get straight into it. Hamstrings. Where to start with this ball? Okay, basically the bottom of your butt cheek. I want you to work this area all the way down to in at the fold of where your knee joint is. Okay, that's where you're working, but I want you to start up at the top. Now, you can do this sat down. If you've got a bench, it's definitely better, or a seat, or a coffee table, or anything, you know, that's going to work. But what it won't work is a big spongy seat. Okay, so this one's all right because it's pretty firm, but we don't want something that the ball's just going to sink into because otherwise it's not going to be able to crush that muscle properly. So you can do this on the floor. Okay, you can absolutely do it on the floor if you have to. Okay, but I'd rather you didn't because you'll get more weight on it and it's a little bit safer as well. Okay, but we won't go into that. So all I'm going to do is quite simple. I'm going to sit in the ball. Okay, I'm going to find just below my glutes, okay, just below your glutes, at the bottom of your butt cheek itself. I'm going to sit on it, and then all I want you to do is just the usual, okay? Imagine those muscles in the hamstrings, they're running like guitar strings. I want you to run along the strings side to side. So I'm going to work my way from the top of my hamstrings down towards that kneecap, but however, as soon as I find, there she is, as soon as I find a sore spot, okay, you know it by now, come on, you know it by now. So I've found a bit of pain, a bit of discomfort, so I'm going to have a wee kind of wobble around that area just to make sure that I'm on the dead set centre of the pain, as in the most uncomfortable part. So that's me, I'm on there now. So first part now for me is trying, or well for you too, is trying to put as much weight down on this ball as I possibly can. So I want you just to simply imagine that the muscles themselves, the hamstrings, are now completely relaxed, they're not under tension at all. And that ball is now sinking and the muscle is wrapping itself around it. It's sinking into the muscle tissue, okay? And I'm getting more and more weight on there by the second, okay? So all I want you to do is, that's the first protocol. If you feel any sort of numbness, pins and needles or anything shooting down your legs, especially if you're doing this on the floor, just ease off that spot, move across, okay? It's as simple as that. Because we've got that sciatic nerve hovering in and around this area. And that's why if you're doing it on the floor, you're just exposing it a wee bit more. So you don't really want to be foam rolling that bad boy, okay? But if you do, you'll soon know about it because you'll probably feel little tingles running down your leg, or your toes might start jumping about at you. Okay, so it looks like I'm just sitting here chilling out. I'm far from it, believe me, this is very uncomfortable. Now, you might have to move around a little bit to find the discomfort and pain. So now that I'm on here, I've been on here a bit, I've got a good bit of weight down on it. Now I'm going to start keeping that weight on there ever so slightly, just start rocking to the side, rocking backwards and forwards, and just try to break up that knotted area. Again, be careful. If you do start to feel any numbness or tingling down your leg, just ease off that area, okay? We don't want to be hurting it. So, it's as simple as that. It really is. You know the process, it's not complicated, this stuff. Think about the hamstrings, okay? I'm just trying to break it up. So now I can contract and I can relax, okay? So I've been doing the whole pressure sequence. If you like, lean on your leg, push down on the leg, get more weight if you're able to. You see me sitting here like I'm chilling out. I'm not. I'm putting the weight down onto that leg to push down onto that ball more. And all I'm doing is just trying to break up that area of pain and discomfort. Okay, so that's the pressure sequence. You know that one well. Next up, next protocol, the next tool we have at our disposal is contract and relax. So for me to tell you to contract your hamstrings, you need to figure out that motor skill for yourself. So once people, you know, the more you learn, the more you practice, the more control you'll have over your body. Okay, so I can't just say contract your hamstrings and you know how to do that. You have to figure that one out for yourself, how to contract that muscle group, tense it up and then relax. Tense it up and then relax. Okay, and hopefully that's feeling like it's helping. Just break it up a wee bit more. And then finally, the brutal one, the horrible one. Okay, to smash and floss in this one is pretty simple. All I'm going to do is, wait for it, straighten out that leg. Okay, I'm going to try, even just thinking about it, the pain starts to increase quite significantly. So all I want you to do, everybody, is just start pumping that leg, okay? Get the leg nice and straight, making sure that you're keeping the weight on the leg. Okay, so try to relax. When you're doing that a few times, just check and make sure that you're still on that dead center of pain, okay, and discomfort. So I've spent a bit of time on there. If it's a real bad area, you might just need to spend the full session on that one spot. But all I'm going to do now is start working down the rest of my hamstring, so side to side to side, until I start to feel another area. Okay, and remember, there's nothing wrong with just grabbing the ball and moving it, because if you are going side to side, you're eventually going to roll the thing off the bench, if you're on a bench indeed. So if you need to grab a hold of it, do so. And again, you find a bit of pain, discomfort, whatever that may be, get the weight on it. Okay, and then it's just a simple case of pushing down. Again, it's easy for you to look at me right now and think, oh, he's just chilling out. I'm really not, rest assured. Take my word for it. Or am I? The ball isn't even in there. So I'm pushing down as hard as I can. Okay, pretty uncomfortable on my new spot. I'm on a new spot. Again, I'm just pushing down, and I'm going to try and just rock on it and just try to break up that tissue. As if, you know, for those who go for massages, those who have such luxury in their life, just imagine it's somebody's elbow, okay? Just this ball is just playing the purpose of somebody's elbow in there, trying to break up the tissue. So that's where the side to side, up and down, that's all I'm trying to do here. And I'm trying to push as much weight down onto it while staying relaxed. If you go too much too soon, as in you just try to go full hog, you'll find it's too much and you'll be tensing up against it. And then to try and break it up further, okay, I can just try my best to smash and floss. And all I'm doing with the ball is pinning that knotted up area of muscle tissue down into the bone, and then by doing this action with the leg, it's helping just grind it up a bit more and help break it up just that little bit more. So because we are doing lower body overhaul, big style, we're spending plenty of time on each side, okay? So have a good bit of work, spend a good bit of quality time. I'm not doing the whole 2 minutes each side thing. We're spending a good bit of quality time, because to be fair, this and the stretch that follows with the hamstrings is all we're doing for the hamstrings, okay? This is the best way to get into it. Sure, you know, this is where a lot of people don't realise. A lot of people can start doing, I'm still doing this while I'm talking, by the way, in case you think I've stopped, so you keep doing it too. A lot of people lie on the floor and try to roll their hamstrings on the foam roller. You probably feel like you don't get much from it, and for some people that can make them think that, oh, my hamstrings are actually quite supple, there's not much pain and discomfort in there. It's very hard to get stuck into them properly and get a lot of weight down on them when you're foam rolling in that way with a foam roller. The ball, on the other hand, completely different. That's why when you're sat on here with the weight of the leg leaning down into the bench and that ball, the rocking back and forward, it's helping just move all that muscle tissue out of the way and get into the nitty gritty of the hamstrings as well. So the ball's far superior in this instance, okay? Foam roller has its place, but for the likes of the hammies to get right in that deep muscle tissue, we really need the ball. So you're working at your own pace here, okay? You're finding your own problem areas, you're dealing with them. You know how to do that by now. I just told you at the start, but I've told you umpteen times. It's pretty simple, don't make it complicated, okay? You find a sore spot, all the usual rules apply. You're just trying to break that muscle tissue up until you feel an improvement at least, okay? So don't just aimlessly roll about finding sore spots and just rolling on to the next one. Spend a good bit of quality time. Okay, we're going to go for 1 more minute, so make the most of this 1 more minute. What you can do with this minute, if you like, is just, if you're still pretty far up your hamstrings, as in close to your glutes, close to your butt, just start doing what I told you not to and aimlessly roll about, because that's going to give you a chance to see exactly what you're dealing with for future sessions, okay? Find any other areas of pain and discomfort that need working on and get stuck into them. Okay, 30 seconds, so go for it now, make the most of it. Find that pain, deal with it. Some people more supple than others, some people more problem areas than others. So it's not enough just to stretch out the muscle tissue. If that muscle tissue is not gliding freely, okay, it's not able to freely flow, is the tongue twister that I always find myself using. Notice how I'm trying to talk in my calm voice this morning. I'm trying not to raise my voice too loud. I want you to relax. Right, change legs. If you want to stand up, in fact, I encourage you to stand up, okay, and just let the blood flow back into it. And hopefully you feel like you've done some good there, okay? Hopefully you feel like you've done some good. Push your hips back. How does that feel? Okay, one leg feel like it's different from the other? It kind of should, okay? Right, I'm going to change legs. Nothing complicated about it. Get straight into it. I'm starting just below the butt cheek, and I'm working side to side to side to side to side, down to my knee, okay? You find a sore spot. Just make sure you're not on the glutes, okay? And it's not that it's wrong to be on the glutes. It's just we've done the glutes, and this isn't the best position to be doing the glutes in. I want you to get a wee bit further down, into the mid leg. The mid of the upper leg, should I say, and get delving into the hamstrings. So try to stay away from your glutes, because hamstrings is one we don't really spend that much quality time on. So oh my word, there's plenty of interesting areas on this side. So when you feel pain and discomfort, okay, so straight away I'm telling you to go side to side as if you've got those strings of the guitar, okay. Nice to see people are being proactive and sitting and eating their breakfast while they do this. Okay. Stuffing their faces with bananas, eh? Tell you what, I've seen it all now. I'm only kidding. In this instance you can, as long as you're focusing on the task at hand. Right, back to business. So once you find that spot that feels, oh, that's a wee bit sore, okay, don't just choose that as the spot you're holding it on. Have a wee move around the vicinity of that pain and discomfort, up and down, left and right, and just find the worst part of it. So that's me, I've got it, I think, yep. Once I've found the worst part of that pain and discomfort, that's me then sitting right down onto it. So if the first part is, this is where it looks like I'm doing hee-haw, it just looks like I'm sitting here talking, but I'm slowly getting that muscle group relaxed, pushing as much weight down on my leg as I can, and then all I'm going to do is just push down a bit more weight on there, okay? Bit more weight down on there. Good. What's next? A bowl of granola? Eh? How are you going to manage that one? Jeez, oh. I'm only kidding. Right, okay, so you know the systems. Manoeuvre your body into the best position you can, okay? If you're feeling like, oh, that's worse, as in it's more painful, more discomfort, then that's what we're after. So don't just hold the position, try to find a better way, okay? You might just find that if you lean slightly over that way, whoa, my word! Okay, and what you can do as well, here's a new one, is while you're holding that down, okay, obviously if I start to lean forward, what happens is I'm lengthening out, those hamstrings are starting to lengthen out, so you'll find it just rocking backwards and forwards gently, okay? Can help as well, but make sure you don't start tensing the muscles up. Keep them nice and relaxed, okay? And that's going to help open them up too. So don't just stay in one fixed position. You see me, it looks like I'm just fidgeting, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But what I'm always doing is keeping constant tension on that, constant weight on that ball, trying to get into a better position. Try to open up that muscle tissue to get right in there. Stay relaxed, okay? First part done. I feel like I've got a hell of a lot of weight on here now. I'm pushing down. I'm really on that sore spot. It's not very nice. So now I'm going to contract and relax. And how you do that is you need to work that one out for yourself, everybody. Okay, easiest thing I try to do is probably try to push your foot into the ground as if you're trying to pull your leg back, okay? And that'll help. But once you start to learn that control over your body, you will be able to just engage the hamstrings and relax them without having to move anything. It's like trying to raise your eyebrow. Some people can't do it. You can do it, you just have to practice. You need to work out how to do it. No, that way, right? How do I get control over one? Well, there we go, look, okay. So it's the same kind of thing. It's like teaching people how to lift. They don't understand how to do this. Okay, that takes a certain kind of, right, that's how I do it. If that makes sense. So keep practicing. With a bit of practice, you should be able to contract each muscle group individually from head to toe. There's something to get you thinking about. If you find yourself bored, okay, so I've been holding that a wee while. I've been doing a wee bit of contract relax. I've been fidgeting, trying to break it up, rocking about on it. Now I'm going to do the worst one. Straighten out that leg. Okay, now you're going to activate the quads. The quads are going to tense up, but we're trying to keep the hamstrings relaxed. And just don't overthink it. All you're trying to do is just break up that horrible knotted area that you're putting all that weight on. And just make sure that you're not coming off of it. Oh, she's nasty. Right, okay, so side to side. Gonna have a wee look around the rest of the area. So again, you might have to manually move that ball around. And it's just side to side. Okay, you're trying to work against the grain of the muscle here. As soon as you find another spot, well, you know exactly what to do now, don't you? So another big muscle group. Don't rush it, okay? When you're going side to side and you're just having a look around for a bit of pain and discomfort, don't rush it, because it might take a few side to sides to really open it up and get into that deep muscle tissue. When you're just trying to push down as hard as you can onto that ball as you're going side to side. Get the weight down on it. Again, everyone's different. Okay, some people might be all right. I'm pretty sure most people are able to find a problem area at least within the hamstrings. And you're on it. Move around, see if you can get in a better position. And try to relax as best you can. Okay, it doesn't do you well to spend 5 minutes with your face screwed up. So try to relax as best you can. So be creative, okay, be creative. You're on that sore spot, all you're trying to do is break it up. Right, one more minute, and then we're done on the hamstrings for mobility, and we'll finish off with flexibility before moving on to get a bit more time spent on that groin. The adductors, the adductors. Took me ages to remember which one was which. Adductors, abductors. Oof, what is the difference? Right, good work. You feeling that? That's good. So I'm done here. Okay, I'm done. Hamstring mobility done. So put the ball away, put the foam roller to the side, grab your thick resistance band or the towel, and what we're going to do now is our classic hamstring stretch. Banded preferably, okay? If you've got a band, use the band. If you don't have a band, a towel will work, but a band's much more effective. So all I want you to do is lie down. Legs nice and straight, so make sure you're getting the legs straight first. If your knees are off the ground, get them pushed down. If you've got a thin resistance band, as in there's not a lot of resistance on it, double it up, okay? All I want you to do is hook the ball around the ball of the foot, reach up the band. If you've got a towel, then obviously you can't create that pulling effect quite the same. Oh geez, oh, here's my resistance band going to break now. I better not put that bit up there, otherwise that'll be an eyeball rolling about on the floor. I don't want that. Right, okay, so I want you to pull. So straight away, all I'm trying to do is start to lie back, but I want you to pull the resistance band, okay? And all I'm doing with this leg, if you see that leg down there, I'm trying to keep that leg nice and straight. So don't let that knee come up. Pull the band nice and tight. All I want you to do is keep the knee locked out. Start to pull the leg back this way. Now, depending on where you're at with your progress, you might be away down here and it feels like one hell of a stretch, okay? Or you might be starting to work your way higher up. Either way, make sure that knee is not bent. If you've got a soft knee, hamstrings aren't lengthened out, and you're going to make it feel like it's easier than it is, and that's not what we're wanting. So you're now at the starting point, the point in which you've got that maximum stretch. You've got a good pull down on the resistance band itself. I've got the knee nice and straight, and all I'm trying to do now is focus on my breathing, get myself nice and relaxed, and just increase this stretch ever so slightly. And keep that process going. Make sure your toes aren't fighting the resistance band, as in your toes are not pushing into the resistance band. Let the resistance band pull the toes back, which is going to help lengthen out the hamstrings and glutes in the lower back a bit more. So you're trying to take it further and further and further and further continually, okay? Don't just settle and hold. It can be a pretty uncomfortable one, this. Now your upper body, try your best to relax it too. It doesn't do you well to be all tensed up. So you're pulling the resistance band, but try to keep everything nice and relaxed. Take it further, okay? So all I want you to do is just try to continually take it further and further and further. We're going to hold this for a good 2 minutes, so we're nearly there. Don't just hold it to the one spot, take it further. It's awful, focus on your breathing, it'll relax a wee bit, but it'll still feel really awful, take it further. When I'm telling you to focus on your breathing, the muscles will relax. It doesn't mean that the stretch feels easy all of a sudden. It just means that your muscles will just let you go that a wee bit further, okay? And then they'll fight it again. Focus on your breathing and go a wee bit further. Just keep that process going and repeat. Simple. Last 30 seconds. A bit longer than 2 minutes, but it'll do. Get the best out of it. So at this point now, for the last 30 seconds, you're at that point now where you think, geez, these bad boys are going to snap. Okay, or the resistance band is. Really go for it, really pull that band down, really pull that leg back, make it as uncomfortable as you can handle. Good, right, slowly relax there. So come out of that one. Have a moment if you need it, and then change legs. So it's as simple as that. Okay, nothing crazy about it. And that's another thing with your resistance bands. Always safety inspect them before you use them. Looking for any common kinks that might lead to a tear, that might lead to you getting an eyeball rolling over your dining room floor. Okay, so be careful with these. Don't hang them up in the sunshine either. Some people hang them up in the window. Some idiot hangs them up in his window and then wonders why they all go weird. Right, anyway. As long as it doesn't happen. So hooking it around the other foot, there we go. And all I want you to do is make sure this leg here is lying nice and straight and flat. Don't let that come up. And all I'm doing is getting myself set up before you commit to the stretch. Make sure your pelvis is flat on the floor for a start. Make sure this leg's straight, make sure that leg's straight. Reach up, get a good grip of the band. And all I want you to do is just work it up. Making sure everything's feeling nice and relaxed. But it's uncomfortable because I've got a hell of a stretch on. So straight away, make sure that resistance band's pulling the toes towards you. Okay, you're not fighting it. Knees nice and straight. Then, work the process. Take it as far as you can. Hold it there. Just try to focus on your breathing. Take it further again. Just keep that process going. Simple. Further, just keep taking that process, making sure the leg's still straight, making sure this leg's still resting fully on the ground. Take it further and further and further each time. Don't wait for me to tell you to take it further. I'm just reminding you. Keep that process going. Okay, I've been holding this a wee while now. I'm going to take it further. Are you still locked out? Yes. My toes still light? Yes. Last 30 seconds. make the most of it, take it as far as you can. And relax there, everybody. Okay, good work. Good quality time there spent on the hamstrings with what is the best bit of mobility work for it, and what is the single best hamstring stretch in my opinion. Okay, for those with tight hamstrings, that is the best way. So hopefully those hamstrings are feeling a little bit loose, well, a bit more loose. So now you should start to find movements like your hip hinge just becomes that little bit easier. That is if your hamstrings were tight beforehand. So when you're pushing your hips back, okay, push your hips back, hips back, hips back, while lengthening this out, you should feel the difference now. You should feel that, oh, that's what it is. Unless of course your hamstrings weren't very tight before. Okay, so the hip hinge is important. People do it wrong because they just arch forward. It's not, we should be hips back, lengthening everything out. So straight away, if you have got a bit of tightness in your glutes, hamstrings, lower back, it's going to limit that, of course. Hamstrings especially, big muscle group. So now, for those who do struggle with that, just hopefully unlock that a little bit. Also, if you've got a tight lower back, loosening them off is only going to help, feeding a bit of slack upstream. Next up, adductors. Okay, we've done them last time, but we didn't get them finished. So we might as well spend a quick 2 minutes foam rolling the adductors, the groin. Okay, so in part 2, we spent a bit more time on the foam roller like we did on the hamstrings today. Today, because we're doing the adductors anyway, let's do 2 minutes each side. Bookmark it. If you've never done them before, I'll show you anyway. But if you've done them last time, remember where you left off, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so I'm lying flat. Then all I want you to do is get the leg up. You're starting just on the inside of the knee. Okay, and then all I want you to do, well, get yourself in whatever position you need to, and just lie flat. Okay, so I've got the leg cocked up to the side like I'm going for a pee. Okay, if I was a dog, that is. If I was a dog. So this is where you'll find a lot of nastiness usually in and around the knee area. But all I want you to do is work the length from your knee up into the realms of your groin. Okay, but you might not, you shouldn't even probably get that far. So straight away, all I'm doing is I'm rocking backwards and forwards on that sore spot that I've found already. So if you haven't found a sore spot, rock back and forward and just slowly start letting the foam roller move in close and close and closer to the groin until you find a bit of pain and discomfort. Okay, for me, plenty of it right at that knee, so I'm going to stay there today. So all I'm doing now is pushing down into that foam roller, and the easiest way for me to explain that to you is imagine you're trying to bend that bone around the curvature of the foam roller. That's going to make you push down into it. Stay relaxed, okay, so don't let that muscle group start to tense up. Push down hard into it, and then just start your gentle rockwards, side to side, up and down, okay? It's horrible if you're on a really knotted up area, especially close to the knee. It's pretty damn nasty, but that's where it takes a lot of concentration, everybody, to try and keep that muscle group relaxed. If you're all tensed up and horrible, it's not going to do you much good here, okay? So trying to break up that muscle tissue. So that's the pressure wave. That's how we apply it in this position, pushing down, trying to bend the bone around the curvature of the foam roller. Contract, relax, works a treat in this one. So contract, relax, and then to smash and floss, it's simply a case of pin your pain onto the foam roller, straighten out the leg, and bring it back down. Okay, that's how we smash and floss it. Or what you can do is anything else that works. Be creative with it. Okay, maybe internally rotating. Okay, so lifting that leg up will help also. Straightening it out, nasty. Either way, get it done. Try and just relax the rest of your body as well. You don't want to be all tense. So I'm putting my head on the floor because you'll find it in this position here, because I'm looking at the camera. Okay, you might be doing the same, you might be looking forward, your neck starts to get sore, it starts to get tired, so just chill. So make the most of it. We're only doing the 2 minutes, which is now us. Okay, I'm going to change sides now. Okay, so fair bit of distance to work there in terms of the length of the adductors going on the inside of the leg. Okay, it's the inside of the leg. I explained this last time. Okay, so you've got the quads, you've got the hamstrings, and then you've got a muscle group that runs up the inside of your leg, your inseam if you like, right up into your gooch. That is your adductors, okay? They play a huge role in stabilising you during a squat. That's what you'll feel sore. If you squat to depth, if you're pulling your knees apart, this muscle group's going to work properly and work hard to stabilise you. It gets forgotten about because we only deal with the big quads and the big hamstrings, and we don't quite realise there is something in between. If you're not sure, Google it, okay? Google it and you'll see the anatomy. You'll see exactly how it looks as a muscle group. So, I'm on the next side. Trying to get myself in whatever position I can to really expose the adductors, which is simple, okay? Just cocking the leg up to the side, position the foam roller on the inside of the leg, and then just try to position the rest of your body in a way that you are pretty relaxed. And then all I'm doing is walking the leg up and down on that foam roller as I slowly start to work my way up towards the inside of the groin. Okay, you won't get that far probably, and you'll start to feel a bit of discomfort and pain. When you get on that, you're just simply putting the pressure on it, okay? So I'm going to push down into the foam roller. And then imagining that thigh bone going into the knee, I'm trying to bend it around the curvature of that foam roller now, so that when I do rock backwards and forwards, when I do go up and down, and I do start to straighten out the leg, okay, that's going to help really crush that muscle tissue into the foam roller between the bone, which sounds nasty, and it is, but that's what we're trying to achieve, okay, to help just try and break up all that grizzle and knot. So you can start to internally rotate by lifting that heel up. You can start to straighten out the leg. And this is not nice for me, I won't lie, this is disgusting. So last time we done the adductor, okay, yep, we done the foam roller and we spent a good bit of quality time on it. Today we're just doing 2 minutes because we might as well do it while we're here and we're set up. And then we finished off with the kneeling groin stretch today. Instead of the kneeling groin stretch, the bit that we didn't get a chance to do is that warrior lunge variation, okay, when we're getting stuck in to replicating how our leg would be at the bottom of a squat. So we're starting to mobilise our body and stretch our body out in a functional position it would normally be in, okay, and address any tightness that might limit the depth of your squat by means of your groin. Good, right everybody, we're done. We're done. So foam rolling out the way, grab yourself a mat for your knee. And a familiar one, too many, but as always, I'll talk you through it as if you've never done it before. Get your mat for your knee. All I want you to do is get in a big lunge position. So get the knee down, get that front leg, fire it forward nice and far. And all I want you to do is pin the foot with the hand, which then puts the elbow on the inside of the knee. So the purpose here is with this elbow now, I can push that knee apart, which is what we do when we squat. So forget about the back leg, think about the position of this. Okay, this is us effectively at the bottom of a squat. Okay, that's what would be happening with the hip capsule here and the hip joint around there. That's what we're trying to replicate. So you're going to be able to address and fix and identify the tightness in your body that might be causing you to lose depth in a squat or lose form at depth. So all I want you to do is make sure you've got a good pin in this foot, you're pulling that knee apart, and I want you to push the hip down and force the chest up. And I'm going to go side on just so you can see exactly what's going on with the back leg, etc. So I'm bringing that leg out, I'm pinning it, and all I want you to do is try to push the hip down and force the chest up. Okay, now you might be like this, feeling a hell of a stretch, that's fine. You're trying to strive for this, but that'll take time. If you've got a lot of tightness in the groin, you'll find that you are jammed up here, but as long as you're getting that maximal stretch, that's what we're after. Keep holding the position, because I need to come back this way to show you the next part. So part one of this is simple. you're just trying to push the hips down towards the ground and get that stretch deep in the groin, which you should be feeling. Don't get lackadaisical with it. You're being active, proactive. You're trying to push down. You're trying to take it further. You're trying to bring this chest up, okay? It's as simple as that. You're keeping it on. Next, okay? Don't rush to it unless you know what you're doing. I want you to drive the toes into the ground to keep that foot stable, and I want you to continually think about pulling that knee out without the foot coming off the floor. That's why we're pushing the toes in. Then I want you to continue pushing the hips down, start to twist away from it. Every little bit you twist away from it should feel like you're enhancing the stretch in your groin now, everyone, okay? So I'm twisting, 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 twisting. Make sure you're keeping those toes driven into the ground and make sure that knee is still being pulled apart. And most importantly, keep pushing those hips down. If you do all that, you're going to feel this. If you don't, you'll ease out of it as you go, which we don't want. So you're trying to enhance it now. This is where you be creative and explore it a wee bit. Go down towards the ground, okay? All I want you to do is just try to explore around the area, looking for any little pockets of tightness. It's personal to you. Everybody's different, okay? So don't just hold that one position. Have a play around, try and enhance it. I'm going to walk back to the centre, push those hips, get the chest up. Back to the start position. Feel a bit better now. Now the final one is I want you to drop the elbow, the opposite arm of the leg that you're stretching out. So I'm stretching my left leg, I'm going to drop the right arm onto the elbow, and then I want you to try and pull your chest towards your foot, while still trying to pull that knee apart and pin this foot down. And that's just going to help get that hip capsule going, but also further enhance stretching the groin too while we're at it. Good. Back on to the centre. Final push from the centre. Get it all feeling good. Right, okay, I've loosened off a bit since the start of the stretch. That's how we should feel. Okay, and then I want you to simply take your time, stand up tall, and then let the blood flow, shake it out, and then change sides. Okay, so we're going to get into the next side. Good stretch, that one. Okay, you're getting a lot from that. It's replicating being at the bottom of that squat. Okay, but by throwing that leg back, so you see that there, bottom of my squat, all I'm doing is throwing my leg back, so this is still at the bottom of a squat, but now what I'm doing is I'm further stretching out my groin, and that back leg as well is also getting a bit involved. So it's going to help you build depth into your squat by addressing tightness in the groin itself and in the hips. So pin that foot, of change legs, pin that foot, make sure you've taken a big lunge forward. Okay, this shin should be pretty much vertical as you look at it. If the knee's way forward like this, it's because you've just gone a wee bit too short of yourself. So get a big step forward. First part of this is just setting yourself into a good stretch. Square yourself up. Don't feel that you're lopsided. Square yourself up. Push the hips down. Force the chest up. Okay, now I'm getting a good stretch in my groin. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to relax. Horrible stretch for many, but I'm trying to do my best and relax, okay? Don't hold it and be all shaking and tense. It doesn't work. Relax as best you can. Continually trying to push those hips down and bring that chest up. Okay, so we're trying to get that nice flat back. Pulling that knee out, keeping that tension by pushing that elbow into that leg. Keeping the foot pinned to the ground. And now, for the next part, we're going to start twisting away from the foot. As you do so, keep pushing the hips down, drive the toes, because now that I'm not pinning that foot with a hand, I want you to drive the toes into the ground, because I don't want to happen is for your foot to start lifting off the ground, okay? So pin the toes into the ground, slowly start twisting, and every little bit you twist, you should be enhancing that stretch, okay, not taking away from it. Push the hips down. Take it to the point in which you feel, right, I can't really go much further here. Okay, when you get to that point, that's when you can start playing around with the angle. Go low, move around within the stretch. Just try to find any little areas of tightness while keeping that hip stretch on. Okay, keep the enhancement, focus on that. So I'm never easing out of it, I'm never relaxing, I'm just looking to make it better, looking for a better stretch. And then I come back to the centre, I set myself back up into that centre, get a bit of a stretch, okay, it's feeling a wee bit better, so I can go a wee bit further, because I don't settle, try to get better, always. So now I take my opposite arm, drop it to the elbow, pin the hand onto the foot and just try to pull yourself in to that foot while keeping this foot flat on the floor. Don't let the foot lift, so you can pin it with your hand if you like. Just relax as best you can. Good. And then I'm coming back on to the top, forcing the chest up, back into that centre position. You should feel like you've spent a good bit of time. So these are long stretches. We're getting quality time in this today. Okay. And relax there. Okay, so hamstrings and adductors, quality time spent on them. That is us officially ready to move below the knee. I know. So next time for lower body, we'll be working on the calves, we'll be working on the shins, all the areas that we kind of briefly flew through in the beginning of all this target mobility stuff. We're going to start spending quality time. So realistically, calves, that's a long one. It's a big, very important area. Calves get into the ankles, it's probably going to be a session by itself. Shins and feet, etc. And then that's us done. Lower body overhaul, and guess where we're going next? Upper body, full upper body overhaul, like you've never seen before. Thank you very much, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. And that is how you do an outro.